take, whatever it take. Anyways, welcome back, Team TWC. It's your boy TWP Popcorn. Y'all already know what time it is. It's 10 a.m. on a Sunday. If not, it'll be 6 p.m. Wednesday or 10 a.m. Saturday, aka another day in paradise. I know for the people that come in late to the stream, you don't never know when to come looking for me because you don't actually come back and watch a video after the video to see what you missed in the video. But we'll get a class on that one of these days. But it won't be today. Hell, we got other stuff to do. We got some videos to review, some things to talk about. It's America, people. America. A lot of things going on and popping and cracking. So, hell, let's get this flipped around and see where are we going to go today, right? We had a couple videos that we noticed. The popular topic this week was organic topics. Okay, so a lot of people made some videos about organically grown things. That's why it's called Toe and Organics, because we'll have to be coming up with a DWC way to be more organically grown. You did? Because, yeah, I'll come up with that for y'all. That's one of the things I do. Content creator. I'll find the videos for you. Shout out to Josh Cannabis Reviews. Appreciate you for waking up and baking with your boy. You dig? Y'all know to go check Josh out. Good cannabis reviews over there. He's usually in or out a dispensary with product reviews for you. Appreciate that because that lets you know his opinion on things that he feel you might want to investigate. Hey, if you don't want to investigate, participate with the thumbs up on my guys' videos, right? Right. You know how we do networking. Hey. So let's see. Y'all know how we gonna get down. We got some razzle and dazzle, and hopefully some good information that you might want to take some notes on, aka the side notes.
Pick a strain, whatever you want, you can get. Indica sativa, never rolling plain Jane. I know some people, if you want, drop 50
Brother No Fly, good to see you. How you doing?
Mama got plenty, so many strain, puffin' the
Definitely go
plane,
check
one
out
for
No
patrol.
Fly.
One for the brain, one for the
That's my
body,
guy
one for
right
the
there.
soul. Running with strange, keeping the party under control. Up, away, flying, how far are we gonna go? Smoke team in the building, got 'em is what the deal is. Recognize, coming with Burns, Felix with Filming County boy, got the liquor. Castle was on the fader, Stevie came with the greenery, mixing multiple flavors, whatever you want, homie. Tell me when to say when. How about you and your friends? Come get with me and my friends and keep it real with me, girl. I don't want to pretend like this is a new thing. Really, that's what it's been like. Hey guys, how you doing? 420 scene here. Real quick, join our Discord. Link is going to be in the comment and down below. And of course, drop a fat like on the video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Before we get started with today's video, if you want to chill with me and get in on our Elite Cut Genetics Bean giveaway, follow and subscribe to us over on Twitch at RadScene. Literally the only way to get your hands on the Blue Octane Cherry Trop Cross. We talk about bud, football, gaming, random shit. It's always a good time, so come and hang out with us over at RadScene. If you do have Amazon Prime and want to show some further support at no extra cost, drop that free Twitch Prime subscription during my next live stream and you'll never get any more ads on Twitch. So again, it's free. We go live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you there. Today we're going to be starting a new mini-series where I go over what to do from the seedling stage all the way throughout the flowering stage and even beyond that. So I'm going to break everything down that you need to do and why you need to do it. So we're going to have a dedicated video. We're going to have a video covering the seedling stage, a video covering early veg, late veg, early flower, a late flower, and then we're going to have our own dedicated video for drying and the curing process. Off the bat, and most of you guys I can vibe with, you guys are super chill, super awesome, but to the ones with stupid questions like where is my grow, which would be weird to even ask anyway since I have a playlist of my See the Harvest video for past runs, as I'm currently not doing any, I just have too many projects right now, but if you're not able to find that, check the playlist.
Y'all already know to hit up the Rumble replay of Upstate and Devo's live from yesterday. Great show. Had a good clip of a moment in it too. If y'all wasn't there, y'all missed out, right? Nah, y'all didn't miss out. Y'all get to go hit the replay on Rumble, preferably Rumble, because YouTube might not appreciate that video for too long. But it's available on Rumble for now and forever as long as the Rumble's here. So right. And of course, I just hit my dab.
Also, these glasses that I wear, they're stoner shades from Daily High Club. Okay, so if you gotta ask if they're kids' glasses, that's just pure insanity. Like, imagine thinking kids could buy stoner shades from Daily High Club. That's just crazy work. Having said that, everything that I do tell you is based on what I personally have done and recommend. And if you do things a different way, then so be it. But this is just the way I do it. So today's episode is going to strictly cover the seedling stage. So we're going to have these videos grouped in a way where you can watch a different part based on, if you have a question when you're in a specific cycle of your plant's lives, instead of having just like one super long video and you'll have to keep flipping around forever. So this way it's going to be better for everybody. So when you go on the mini-series playlist that I'm going to be starting, everything is going to be grouped in order. So seedling stage, early veg, early flower, late flower, drying and curing. So whatever you need, we're going to be covering it in that specific order. Start with germinating your seeds in a wet paper towel and Ziploc bag, but this is going to be something different. I want you guys to keep it in the wet paper towel an extra day or two than you normally would. So let's just say like maybe 3 or 4 days. Now the reason I preferred that way is because if you do it a day or two early, it's a lot easier for your taproot to dry out since they're still trying to establish that root system. And since there's not that much mass at all, it's super easy for it to dry out unless you're spraying 3 times a day, 4 times a day, and then some of you forget. So that's why I recommend giving it an extra day or two in the wet paper towel. Get a nice long tap going. You can kind of dig a little bit further down and drop it in there. It just makes things a lot easier later. You can either use the plastic cups or coconut husk pots. I've used them both. It's kind of more of a preference type of thing, but if you use the coconut husk pots, the roots are going to grow through. So you don't like have to transplant the conventional way. You would just drop the root ball with it still being in the cup. It will go through. Now, I know some people in the comments are probably going to say, well, I've used coconut husk pots and it didn't grow through. I don't have an answer for that. I've never really had an issue with that. The only time I had an issue was when I was running autos, and I think the roots were just not strong enough to be able to penetrate through the coconut husk. I'm not really sure otherwise, but if you have a really strong root system, you shouldn't have any issues with it breaking through. But you can also use plastic cups if that's an easier option for you, or you just don't feel like waiting to order on Amazon. Just know that you will have to transplant that later. Now, as far as the seedling mix goes, you have a few options here. My most popular mix is using 75% Pro Mix HP Medium or some kind of blank soil like Happy Frog. You use Happy Frog though? There's like mycorrhiza in there, and I think just a little bit of worm castings. I would still put like 20-25% worm castings if you go with Happy Frog, and maybe like 5 to 10% extra perlite in there, because I think the drainage is kind of mid if you're using the Happy Frog. Or you could just go with the Pro Mix HP, and there's enough perlite. The drainage is really good on the HP anyway, so those are some options you got as far as like the grow mediums you can use. Some other premix options, if you're not trying to do any kind of mixing for the seedling stage, would be either using Gaia Green Living Soil or Fox Farm Light Warrior. Some experimentation on that. Gaia Green Living Soil, you can absolutely use that for the seedling stage. If you're using Gaia Green Living Soil and you transplant, do not be alarmed by the mushrooms that you see growing out of the side walls. It's not always going to happen, but if it does happen, it is a good thing, because it means that there's a lot of good organic matter and beneficial fungi in your soil as expected for living soil. So this is a very good thing. Do not panic. So now let's just say you germinated successfully and you got the mix where you want. The next thing is to get a scale. The reason I want you to get a scale is so that way you can measure your dry weight and compare it with your wet weight. So that way you're going to know exactly when it's time to water without second guessing or anything. Don't start digging your fingers into the because now you're guessing. You know what I mean? Let's cut out all the bullshit altogether and work with the numbers. That way you don't have to worry about.
I say I like that. He said get you a scale. That way, whenever water up, you go ahead and weigh your shit. Now you know what your water weight is. Man, perfect. It's a good clippable moment right there. Shouts out to Devo and Upstate. They're gonna have me saying that this week. That's clippable.
Guesswork. Should I water it now? You're going to be kind of this way. There's going to be absolutely no confusion. You're going to know what your water retention level is, and that's it. Now, if you're using this route with the scale, make sure to.
Now, Devo and Upstate, the good thing about having all those clips is that's going to be what drives your views up and up and up and up. given that YouTube promotes the short program, they'll be bringing attention to those shorts. So hopefully your views see the results.
Write down what your dry weight is. Now, also keep in mind that as you progress through the days and before you transplant, your weight will marginally change because you're going to have a bigger root mass. So that's going to add a couple extra G's. So just keep that in mind. Now, whatever your dry weight is, that's going to be your 0% of water retention. That makes perfectly sense. Perfectly good sense, right? Now, you're going to be doing this before you drop your germ seedlings into your cups. So always know what your dry weight is. Don't just start putting it in there. Giving you an example, let's just say that your cup weighs about 100 grams, but your wet weight is going to be 160 grams. You're going to want to water when you're between like 105, 110, 115. So that way you don't want your soil to completely be drying out, but you want it to be kind of on the verge of drying out. You never want to be in a situation at this stage where your root system is drying up before it has established itself. That's the whole point of keeping it germinating for 1 or 2 extra days. You don't want to fuck this up. Hey, and of course, if you got any questions, join our Discord community. The link is going to be right down below. This should be the newest link for Discord, so the link that is going to be in the description, it should be good. If you're watching this video like a month or 2 later, that link is probably not going to be good. Then just go to like my newer videos, whatever that is. Next is going to be how much light you should be giving them. Now, I've experimented with the different PPFD levels, so this is what I think is where you need to be at. This is also based on using the Photon app with a diffuser, which you can get for like $30. It's really not that bad. I like my PPFD for the first 2 weeks to be between 250 and 275. It's important for you guys to stay within that range because if it's less than 250, you kind of run the risk of your seedlings getting tall and lanky. But if it's more than that, then they're susceptible of burning because of how sensitive they are at this point. They're seedlings. They haven't matured in the slightest yet. Now, you can either use an LED light strip from a germination kit, or you can run your lights at maybe 25%. It does not matter as long as you're hitting your PPFD between 250 and 275. I can't stress that enough. So at this point, you don't really need to be doing anything else because your nutrition is already covered by your seedling mixes. You have adequate lighting and your watering practices are where they need to be because of the scale. So if you do those 3 things, you should successfully get through the seedling stage without any hiccup, without any kind of trouble. Unless you got trash genetics. And in that case, hey, you can take that up with the breeder. So that's all you really need to know for the seedling stage. It's really not that difficult. I know this is not a super long video, but I wanted to break it down and give you all the proper information. I'm trying to keep it simple for a lot of beginners out there. Growing shouldn't be hard. It's the growers that make growing hard. Okay, well, some growers, all right? So after this video, we are going to be moving along to the first half of the veg stage, so stay tuned. I'm not sure when I'm going to be making that video. Maybe either Tuesday or next Friday. Shoot for Friday. So the time this video drops is probably where I'm going to be because we've been doing a lot of streaming on Twitch. I've been doing a lot of music, recording music, stuff like that. So like I said, I do have a lot of other projects. That's why we're not doing any runs right now. So now we're also going to be creating a separate playlist. So in the future, years down the road, you'll be able to access this information whenever you want. I haven't named it yet, but look for the playlist that says mini series or something. It's going to have this video in it. That's the playlist you know to look for. So having said that, before we do close off today's video, be sure to join our Discord and Twitch. Rad Scene, that's my name on Twitch, and we got a really great community in there. A lot of people are chilling, vibing, smoking up, a lot of good stuff. So I hope everyone has a great rest of their day, and as always, stay safe. Peace, guys.
What did you think he did? He was a cool dude from Atlanta. And I know
Cool dude from Atlanta?
I knew he played ball, and I knew he graduated from college and
How
stuff
did you
like
end
that.
up going in the studio just...
Yeah, it was we. It was we.
Tell him.
What the hell is going on?
Wayne wanted cannabis.
So how the 2 Chainz and Lil Wayne meet. Lil Wayne was down in Atlanta, needed some weed. And Chainz was the weed man, aka Titty Boy.
Welcome back, legends, to another Bud Fellas educational deep dive. Today, we're focusing on something absolutely fundamental to understanding cannabis as a living organism. What healthy cannabis leaves should look like. Leaves are the plant's primary communication tool. They reveal internal processes, environmental reactions, nutritional balance, and even the plant's overall mood. When you know what a healthy leaf looks like, you can recognize the plant's natural baseline, making it much easier to understand when something changes. As always, this video is for educational purposes only, following UK law and YouTube guidelines. Nothing here is instructional. We're simply analysing plant biology and behaviour. Before we jump in, remember, this channel is for viewers over 18, and our content is purely educational. We're not here to promote or encourage illegal activity.
Now remember, even if you have a legal disclaimer in your YouTube video, they will still demonetize your video. So use all the time you want to write them and type them up. Like we said last week, we're going to keep reminding y'all. Disclaimers, just, yeah, whatever. You can disclaim it, but they can still do whatever. Morning, Sue. Good to see you again. How you doing?
In the UK, cannabis cultivation remains illegal without a license.
What
we are doing is learning plant science and helping beginners avoid common mistakes. Let's begin with the foundation. Colour. A healthy cannabis leaf typically shows a vibrant medium green tone. Not too dark, not too pale. Balanced. This indicates that chlorophyll production is steady and efficient. Chlorophyll is essential for photosynthesis and fuels the plant's growth. When colour is consistent across the whole leaf, it shows the plant is metabolizing nutrients correctly and converting light energy into chemical energy smoothly. But colour is not just about being green. Some strains naturally express lighter or darker shades due to genetics. Indicas typically show broader, darker leaves, while sativas often display lighter green, slender leaves. Autoflowers sometimes sit somewhere in between due to their hybridized lineage. What matters is consistency within the plant's genetic expectations. A healthy leaf reflects its lineage while maintaining uniformity across the canopy. Next, let's look at structure. Healthy cannabis leaves are firm, symmetrical, and hold their shape. The classic serrated edges should be defined, but not cut. The leaflets should spread naturally, with the central leaflet typically being the large.
Oh, and I know for all the guys that are liking the animations, I'm going to have to stop using these guys because they do copyright their content, so I can't review it apparently. I can, but it's one of those things that are a problem as far as the backside of things. But given that I've been monetized using Buy Me a Coffee, I don't care about that shit. As long as y'all let the video play, I'll monetize it my way. So yeah, that's kind of like that. Yeah, is that damn bong, or is my parents trying to slide me their cold because they said they weren't feeling well? Who knows? We'll figure it out. Figure it out, we will.
Largest. When leaves fan outward evenly, it means the internal water pressure, known as turgor, is balanced. Turgor pressure keeps the leaf firm and upright, showing that water uptake, root function, and cell structure are stable. Now let's talk about leaf posture. Healthy cannabis leaves tend to angle slightly upward or outward depending on the light cycle and time of day. This posture is often called praying, and it reflects active photosynthesis. When leaves angle themselves toward the light source, the plant is optimizing energy intake. But a healthy leaf does this gently, not excessively. Extreme upward pointing can sometimes indicate stress, but gentle upward posture is a sign of vitality. The leaf surface is another important indicator. A healthy leaf should have a smooth, matte to soft gloss finish. Shiny, reflective surfaces may indicate stress or nutrient imbalance. A healthy leaf also has no bumps, unusual texture, or deformities. While minor genetic quirks can appear, the overall leaf should remain uniform. Veins also tell a story. Healthy cannabis leaves have clearly defined veins that contrast slightly with the surrounding tissue. These veins act as nutrient highways, transporting minerals and fluids throughout the leaf. When veins are distinct but not raised, it shows that nutrient mobility, also known as translocation, is functioning efficiently. New growth tends to be slightly lighter with visible veins, which is normal. As the leaf matures, it fills out. Stems and petioles, the little stems that connect leaves to branches, also reveal health. A healthy petiole is firm, slightly flexible, and consistent in colour. Some strains naturally produce reddish or purple tones due to genetics or temperature, and this is not always a sign of stress. What matters is consistency and whether the coloration aligns with the plant's typical expression. Spacing between leaves is another indicator of overall health. Healthy cannabis leaves emerge evenly along the stem, creating symmetrical node spacing. When internodal distance is balanced, not too stretched, not too tight, it shows the plant is receiving balanced signals from its hormones, particularly auxins and gibberellins. These hormones regulate growth patterns, and their balance reflects environmental stability. Let's move deeper into leaf edges. The serration should be crisp and regular. Healthy leaves do not curl up or down. They do not cup, twist, or ripple. Any of these signs may indicate stress from temperature, humidity, nutrients, or light. But in a healthy leaf, the edges remain flat and stable. This shows that transpiration, the process of water moving through the plant, is functioning correctly. We should also look at the underside of the leaf. While growers don't always inspect this area, the bottom of the leaf houses stomata, tiny pores that regulate gas exchange. A healthy leaf underside is smooth, clean, and consistent in colour. It should not appear dusty or mottled. In a healthy plant, stomata open and close rhythmically throughout the day depending on environmental conditions. Another key element of a healthy leaf is growth speed. Leaves should expand steadily as the plant enters its vegetative stage. Rapid new growth accompanied by strong colour and symmetrical patterns indicates good hormonal balance. Sluggish growth, on the other hand, may hint at environmental inconsistencies, even if the leaves appear superficially healthy. Let's discuss thickness. Healthy cannabis leaves have a certain density to them, soft but firm. If the leaf feels thin or flimsy, it may be receiving inadequate light or nutrients. If it feels excessively thick or leathery, it may be responding to environmental stress. A healthy leaf, however, balances flexibility with strength. You can also evaluate health by the leaf's central ridge. Healthy leaves have a clear central vein that runs straight through the middle. If this ridge twists or distorts, it may reflect stress during early development. When the ridge is straight, it indicates stable cell division and balanced hormone distribution. A healthy leaf also maintains predictable symmetry. Each leaflet should mirror the one on the opposite side. While small natural variations occur, healthy cannabis leaves follow consistent geometric principles. Symmetry is nature's way of revealing internal balance. Let's explore a more subtle but important factor: leaf temperature. Healthy leaves maintain a temperature slightly lower than the surrounding air due to evaporative cooling. This natural cooling shows the plant is transpiring correctly. While you can't feel this difference easily without tools, understanding this principle helps explain why leaves droop or curl when stressed. Finally, it's important to emphasize that healthy is not identical across all strains. Some genetics naturally display quirks such as ridged leaves, unusual spacing, or distinctive color patterns. The key is recognizing what is normal for the particular plant in front of you. Healthy leaves always follow the plant's genetic blueprint. To summarize, a healthy cannabis leaf is vibrant in color, symmetrical in structure, firm in posture, smooth in surface, balanced in texture, predictable in vein patterns, and expressive of its genetic lineage. It communicates through subtle signs: posture, color, sheen, shape, and rhythm. Understanding these signals allows you to recognize when the plant is thriving long before problems arise. Thanks for tuning in, legends. If you're enjoying these educational breakdowns of plant science and cannabis behavior, don't forget to like and subscribe. More deep dives are on the way. This is Bud Fellas, clear, calm, and educational, signing out. This video is proudly sponsored by Spider Farmer, one of the leading names in grow lights and tents. If you're serious about healthy plants and bigger harvests, Spider Farmer has the gear you need. Check out their full...
What up to that big homie? Appreciate you for stopping by, saying hi. You know, you know. Doing our THIN to the G as typical on a Sunday, right? Seen you slid a vibe in the other night. I was like, oh, well, hold on. He did one of these. It's been a sec. I wasn't even looking. But I seen the replay.
This video is proudly sponsored by Spider Farmer, one of the leading names in grow lights and tents. If you're serious about healthy plants and bigger harvests, Spider Farmer has the...
I know that it's not the next video that I had in my playlist. How did I slide out?
the gear you need.
See, this is why we gotta pay attention. I think I paused it or something, but whatever. It happens. We'll go right back into it because I know where I am, right? See, this is why you gotta pay attention. Set yourself up so you should know what you're doing when you're doing it, right? Maybe. Anyways, let's see. We are in the ready to go playlist. And we need to view the full playlist because we were just past a video. Actually, that's funny that this guy was just in here. We were just talking about him. Y'all know to go check out the big homie. We get you part of the vibe, right? I ain't gonna say too much because I already done said it. That's hilarious. It's time for his video to pop up, and the video want to pop out, right? Oh, I do appreciate these beats though, because you know I know how to use them, right?
Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there. To the morning light.
Clear that up, right? Maybe.
Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there. To the morning light.
Oh man, I think the only other things I need to be working on as far as my side notes coming up, it's probably going to be establishing trade lines because I need a few more of those for those that have been paying attention.
Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have
For
a
those
place
who've
for
been
you
paying
to
attention,
stay.
right?
In the garden, by the door,
Hey, if
in
you
the
ain't been paying attention, go over to the Team Deepwater Cultivating channel.
Remember me when you're far
There's a couple
away.
business classes you can
Always
catch up
have a
on for
place
free.
for you to stay. In
For the
middle
free
of the
skis,
night,
because they on
I'm gonna
YouTube.
be there.
But you know, you get your consultation and I'll put you right in the game though, right? Hey, well, this is what we doing, right? Hey, you want to know how we eating? This is how we eating, right? I can't show you a picture of the plate, I got to bring you to the table. Definitely one of my more favorite beats because I use it over here
Remember me
and I
when you're
use it on
far
Spider Pig.
away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there till the morning light.
You know, people like, man, Popcorn really do this, man. He do truly wake up every Sunday, get on his grizzide every Saturday on his grizzide. And then, you know, Wednesday, we're going to keep it popping because that's the West Poppin' playlist videos right there. You know what I mean? We got to keep it popping because we are Popcorn. Hell, some going to crack.
A lot of us isn't us too. Have been doing organic growing, and we've seen pros and cons, obviously, but there is somewhat of a dark side, honestly, one that people don't look at, or a negative side of things that people don't look at. I think that we should talk about it a little bit more, maybe bring some light to the dark side and discuss it.
Let's just be clear off the bat. We're not here to demonize organic gardening by any means. Because we grow organic. I love growing organically and the end result you can get from it. But there are a lot of cons out there that aren't talked about a lot. And a lot of new folks, they go in there thinking that every single thing about organic gardening is a good thing. And there are a lot of pros to it, but there are a lot of impactful things that happen, a lot of downsides as well. And I think uncovering that here is going to be a good discussion.
Yeah, I haven't had the opportunity to dive feet first into organic yet, so I'm really going to make sure that I drill you in terms of whether or not it's good or it's not. Because I legitimately would like to see or hear the dark side. I've heard some myths, and I think it's a great opportunity to clear the air here on the dark side of organic growing.
Well, I think there's a lot of things when it comes to sourcing that a lot of people overlook is where you're sourcing some of these things from. Not all products are made the same. And if you're getting something that's depleting natural resources in another land or taking away from animals or land that shouldn't be, taken from, obviously, especially when it comes to phosphorus, heavily, it's something that people overlook when they just see a small bag delivered to their house. They don't understand how the process is being done. It's like those who are into diamonds, understanding how the diamonds are obtained. There's a lot of negative side to it, and it makes it so when you're sourcing your materials, it's really important to understand where you're getting it from and who you're supporting.
Yeah, the slaughter industry, right? Organic gardening uses inputs from that industry, and that's kind of frowned upon for many various ways. I have a quick list here of amendments that come from it, which blood meal, bone meal, feather meal, fish emulsion or fish hydrolysate, hoof and horn meal, which I don't really see frequently used kind of in our space here, but there are definitely ethical concerns with it, pathogen risks, environmental concerns on these things. A lot of people want to when they garden and they're using inputs, they don't want to even think that the input that they're using in there harmed an animal, right? So it's an ethical concern on that aspect, which I totally understand if you're one of those people, but and there are some companies out there that won't even
Now, Latanya, I'm gonna need you to have me a cooking video coming up soon. Probably today, because y'all know she be cooking. But hey, go support in the comment section. Shout out to that plate video. You know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna need to see a fresh plate today. Yeah, make sure you don't skip on the plating, because we like to see them plate videos. Shout out to that. Y'all know how we do. Shout out to the guys over here at From the Stash. Appreciate them doing actual experience reviews because they're letting you know what they've experienced in their fields of growing. Like I said, I started growing in 2018. Yeah, it was 2018, so that was 7 years ago. And like I said, I started doing videos in 2021. So yeah, it's a process, and you definitely want to share your experience with people so they can know what to expect on their journey. Not to compare, but you get what I'm saying. Hell, you have an expert train you And then it's easier for you to actually get the results you want versus having to experiment. Now, me on the other hand, I'm an evil scientist. I love the experimental process part of it. You know what I mean? Because hey, if we don't make it, we can really probably figure out why not, because there's a list of things you're supposed to do, and if you do everything right, then there's only a list of reasons why that could go wrong. So you know, it's called experience points. They'll tell you their experiences, and if you're a smart enough person, you can learn from other people. But if you're a self-taught, self-taught learner, yeah, you're gonna have to take them bumps and lumps. Shouts out to you for being bumpity bump bump bump, like B2K said. There's gonna be some bumps. You know what I mean? Anyways,
Use those inputs because of that reason. You can definitely get through organic gardening without using those particular inputs. But that is kind of a dark side of organic gardening, is that some of these inputs are tied to the slaughter industry.
Yeah. And to mention, too, one of the most expensive, inefficient. Inefficient. Thank you. Hit you. Oh, I see, Chris. I see the issue here. One of the biggest, one of the biggest issues here is like the movement of dirt from one side of the planet to the other side of the planet.
Jay Jordan,
Dirt
what
is
up, my
just about
guy?
everywhere, and yet we ship stuff from.
Y'all know to go stop and check out the Jay's last video. He was live this morning, put over 10,000 steps on his daily step counter, and that was at like starting at like 6, 7 in the morning, or was it like 5? And it was early for me because he on the East Coast. I ain't gonna talk too much about the semantics of the time zones, but it was early and he's already did 10,000 steps, meaning he still got to go the rest of the day. Yeah, shout out to that leg day exercise. He been out here getting it in. Them feet gonna be tired tonight. Hopefully, I mean, because that's what we do. We get out here and get it done, right? Right. Appreciate the 5 thumbs up in the building. Might say 6 because they try to lie to you, right?
One place of the planet to the other side of the planet, and that is so cost
Ineffective?
yeah, I don't know what word to put there. Actually, it's so costly because a lot of these inputs can be created, and a lot of these materials can be sourced locally, but instead are using fossil fuels and time, energy, and money to be shipped across the world. And potting mix is the biggest one.
Well, I think when it comes to getting the peat moss, where they're extracting the peat moss from, is more affordable to get it locally where they're sourcing it. So there's a lot of places too where they aren't ethically sourcing it. It's not sustainable, and it's gonna, allegedly could run out. And that's where people argue, those who think they're doing organic, unless they're reusing the soil, your initial starting point is something that isn't sustainable, which is tough to think. But if you're buying it and not getting rid of it and you're reusing it, it's like, how is that not sustainable at the same
Some
time?
folks using synthetic nutrients also use heat, though, right? To
Yeah,
grow
that's
and
true.
stuff. So yeah, it is. But yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
if people are trying to be sustainable and stuff like that, sourcing it so far away. It's like, if you can source it closer, that's so much better for sure.
100%. There's a lot of concern too about like even things like kelp or a seaweed extract, where it's like, taken from, like taken from just random on the side of the ocean with so much salt, or taken out of ecosystems where there's living creatures and they're extracting it and scrubbing it out of the ocean. There's a lot of debate on, from Ireland or from India, of where people source these things, even with kelp. And destroying ecosystems is what's, hurting our earth. And by doing that, to selfishly have a product that's a little bit better for your grow, and you're someone who argues for sustainability for organics, it's counterintuitive in my opinion.
Yeah, and when we're talking about the ocean, it reminds me of toxic algae blooms that are occurring from kind of over fertilizing. Now, this is another thing where you can kind of equate it to like synthetic nutrient use as well, overusing it, kind of washing
Drain to
into
waste.
lakes, rivers, and these toxic algae blooms happening. But organic amendments are the same deal, right? Like, you overdo it with manure and it just runs off in there. And toxic algae blooms are a huge problem, more than what I can explain here on this podcast. So definitely, feel free to do your own research after this. But yeah, that's one of the things that's not good, and certainly one of the dark sides of gardening in general, really, not just organic gardening, certainly in organic gardening, but gardening in general.
Well, and especially if you're looking at that scale. So that's something like our friends over at High Times put out an article talking about the heavy impact of growing. And
Now, on a side note, which is funny because that's the current playlist for 2026. I like how they all got on some nice lounging weather because they are currently in Vegas, which, for those who don't know, they ain't worried about it being cold unless it's nighttime.
it really made it seem like it was a lot more home growing, which was a little weird. But commercial growing, I understand. There's certain areas in Michigan that are zoned where you can't have any runoff at all. It has to be collected and disposed of properly. There can be none that go into a drain that run off into the water.
That's the way it should. I think that's the way it should
Yeah,
be.
especially at mass amounts. I mean, you got to think about the high amount of ppms that are going into this, and the amount of chemicals and potential PGRs. And this again isn't the organic side, but it's the same thing that you're saying. Having runoff or having additional chemicals, natural or not, that are getting put into our potential drinking water, or for creatures in the water. God forbid it's killing the things that we're eating or that we're getting to that then are killing us.
Yeah, I'd be worried. I would definitely be worried about that, because when you put something back into the system, when you have the runoff from whatever method, this is why sourcing is very important. You want to ensure that what you're getting is actually what you're getting. Because when you put that into the drain system, your town or municipal water plant has to filter all that. So that's a lot of extra work that can go into the system that ultimately could end up costing us more in the long run, because taxes increase because of water consumption rates and so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's just a thing where you don't understand the impact until it's at mass, and there's a lot of people doing it together, and that's why, again, the commercial industry sees that more often. You see it in agriculture as well, where they're depleting even the sources around them where they are. The soil is so used and so reused to the point where it's been depleted of all nutrition, and there's nothing there. It's happened even for, like, fishing. People, again, trying to get fish emulsion and trying to get some of these precious sources for our gardens. They go and take it out of places like Newfoundland, which, they sold off all their shit, so they don't have anything there. But these ports that then get soaked or evaporate, essentially, in terms of finances for the economy locally and resources. Where are we getting these nutrients from? You think it's all just waste and byproduct that people are paying for? No, they're going and doing the same shit to be able to get these things and sell it to us. Usually in countries that don't have the same regulations when it comes to nature and potentially animal lives. This FTS clip was brought to you by AC Infinity, leaders in garden innovation. Use discount code TheStash15 at checkout to save some money on your order.
From the Stash Podcast.
I think I got an AC Infinity discount code, but hell, you know how I am. I appreciate them.
When I start seeing OnlyFans pop off and females getting famous off that, to where you see the shift, it's like, that's why I started doing ride-alongs. People are already into the fast cars. I'm like, if I put a girl in this car, I know it's gonna go viral. Females don't ride a lot of fast cars. Like, if I get a cute girl and I throw in an SC that makes 900 horsepower, I'm guaranteed a good reaction out of her because she ain't never been in nothing this fast. Yep. She might have dated a nigga that has a ZR1 or ZL1 or maybe a Hellcat at most, but she ain't never been in nothing that's gonna make like damn near 1,000 horsepower to the floor. So when she gets in this, I'm for sure gonna get a reaction. If I can get enough torque and get this thing to grip up, if I play with the gas, let it spin a little bit and get it a jerk, I can get these motherfuckers to bounce. She gonna be in there enjoying the time of her life. She ain't gonna know they bouncing, but if I'm like, I can't wait till I start editing this. I'm gonna slow this down, and they gonna keep watching it. Anytime I look at the analytics and see those portions of the video, you see the spike. People like most view part, like, look, there they go. You can't be mad at me. I'm not the thirsty one. I'm the one getting the money.
All right.
Yeah, you said you
Here's
gotta plan your content, right?
5 ways to be a healthier stoner, because there's too many people out there with the dummy mindset of, who cares, brother, as long as I got high, it don't matter. Because I want you guys to actually enjoy this and be able to enjoy it for a long time. Because there's a ton of people that just have to quit because they've been doing it wrong the whole time. But look, I'm working for free today. YouTube doesn't pay me, so look, do me a solid. Check out the Twitch stream. I go live 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and we are getting so lit. But 5 ways to be a healthier stoner starts with, it's the easiest one. You knew this was coming. You knew I was going to say it. Look, throw away those blunt papers. Get rid of the tobacco. Do not mix tobacco with your green. Don't mix the brown with the green just because you like the way it tastes. Oh, but it makes me feel good for a little bit. Dog, you're addicted to it. Look, you can't be mixing tobacco with your flower. You just can't be doing it. There's a lot of people that start smoking, they start getting into it with the crutch or with the pairing of tobacco. They're doing the chops and mole bowls, they're doing spliffs. And next thing you know, sure, they're getting high, but now they have to do it. Now they're hooked on it. Now they're addicted to it. It makes it so much dirtier. It's so much nastier. If you've seen, like, even just look at a glass piece somebody's ripped just green through, and then look at another glass piece that somebody's ripped the combo through, chops or mobiles. One will make you vomit. Bro, it's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. And one thing somebody was pitching to me the other day or talking to me about that I don't often think about is the average quality of tobacco is like bottom shelf doo-doo tier mids. It's like the worst of the worst because like they don't care. Nobody cares. They're hooked on it. There's no like premium high quality stuff out there. It's all doo-doo. So look, throw away the blunt papers, stop doing spliffs, no chops or mobiles, no tobacco with your green. All right, the number 2 tip on how to be a healthier stoner, the healthiest. I just hinted at it, but clean glass. There's a way to keep your glass cleaner by keeping the tobacco out of it, but you actually have to clean those things. And I recommend every day. If you do it every day, it takes no time. It takes seconds. But if you wait weeks or months, it takes so long that you're on Google like, how do I get this thing clean? When it's so easy. You just spray a little bit of ISO in there. You don't need salt. And then you just rinse it out and it's spotless. Keeping your glass clean, it's going to make the whole experience better. The flavors are going to be better. You're not going to run the risk of like trapping mold, having a little swamp in your piece because you want to save the flavor and keep that water. Just clean it out every day. Even for concentrates. Like, stop this whole dream of, oh, I'm just going to use it for weeks and I'm going to fish out a few big old globs of reclaim in there. Just clean it every day. And don't use dirty glass. There's people inhaling mold every day because they don't want to swap the water out. What are you doing? One other tip, I'll just put this as a little bonus. The more simple your glass is, the easier it is to clean. Like ISO in a spray bottle is like a cheat code to save ISO and not use as much. But like the less percolators, the less intricate your glass is, the easier it is to clean. Just like if you need more percolation, no you don't. Just get better flour. What are you doing? All right, my number 3 tip on how to be a healthier stoner. Not everybody has the direct availability to do this, but consider switching to vapor or do a lot more vapor than smoke. Like it's fine to do here and there, but like tons of smoke is like not as clean. It's not as easy on your body as inhaling like a nicely produced lower temp vapor from a flower or concentrate. Like if you're inhaling concentrates more often, that's vapor. A concentrate hit is just the good parts of the plants extracted and vaporized and inhaled versus something like, you mix some tobacco in with some green and you're smoking it through a paper. There's all these extra things in there that aren't going to get you high, but you're still inhaling them all. I think one of the biggest factors for me, it took me a while, but like flower vaping is huge. I used to wake up every day and I'd have to clear my throat for like an hour. I'd just be and then when I like switched to flower vaping for the most part, like it just went away. I just had like a whole like morning problem of like, oh, that's just how I am in the morning and it's gone now. There's more benefits than just that. It's way cleaner overall. I was talking about number 2 tip is keeping your glass clean, but the vapor's gonna help keep your glass clean. You take the tobacco out, you take the smoke out completely and it's just vapor. It's way easier to clean your glass. It's way healthier overall. And look, it tastes better and it's more enjoyable. Like, I gotta tell you that. I will say, though, it does take some people like a week or 2 to get used to it. You don't just take one hit and like your whole world is opened up and you're like, I'm a new person now. It took me like a little while, but after you get locked in, you're like, this is what I should be doing. All right, tip number 4 on how to be a healthier stoner. This is an easy one. This one, you're gonna have to do this. You're going to have to think about this pretty often. You're going to have to think about this when you're at the grocery store because it is buy better munchies. Have healthier munchies. You get chips and cookies at the grocery store and then you get high, you're going to eat chips and cookies. Like, it happens, brother. I do it. You go pick up a bunch of fresh fruit and you got like little pretzel sticks and hummus or something, or vegetables and hummus. That's what you're going to eat, right? When you're blasted and you got untamable munchies. Like you eat anything, right? And stuff that is healthier. I learned this like in my first few months of getting high. I like fruit. I eat a lot of fresh fruit, but like when you eat fresh fruit high, it can be mind-blowingly good. Like it's no surprise like fruit is nature's candy. Like
Pretty sure our videos would prove that. Shout out to our Superfood Parents video sponsor. Y'all know to go check them out. Hell, we can't talk about fruits, vegetables without talking about our sponsors, right? Shout out to their faves playlist. Go check that out from 2024 and 2025. You dig?
most of the candy out there is trying to replicate the flavors of fruits. And look, they just want to make it out of like chemicals and sugar so they can have a longer shelf life. But fruit is like one of the most delicious things on the planet. And I'm telling you, if all you stock up on is like healthier snacks, when you get the munchies, as long as you've uninstalled that DoorDash app, you're going right for the healthier stuff. Lately, I've been trying to like dial down like the overall junk food that I eat. I feel like most of my munchies lately are Outshine popsicles. And I'll dabble in some other brands here and there, but I try to get like the more natural, the organic stuff. You know, when you spend more money on it and they're actually smaller, so it's like costs more and you get less, but it's actually not as bad for you as if you get like the cheapo big box of like bright neon colored popsicles or whatever. I still eat like my fair share of pears and oranges and bananas. I like kiwis. But look, I started getting some more streamlined munchies, right? You just load up on the chips and cookies and candy. When you're blasted, you're just gonna go through it all. How do I know? I've done it like a ton of times. Okay, so that's like a pretty overall. I want to help. With some people are like generally healthy, and then when they get high, they just turn into a gremlin and just start eating every junk food imaginable. So like, have that as a consideration. Like, I have self-control when I'm not high with the chips and cookies, but when I'm blasted, the chips and cookies are, they're done. This might don't go to the grocery store with the munchies. Like, don't get blasted and then go there. Like, eat a meal and then go to the grocery store. You can plan better. All right, the last tip. Tip number 5, many of you know this one from me, but I have to say it again. Some people are just going to click this video and they're not going to watch any other thing that I make, so I have to tell them. The number 1 thing you can do, I saved it for last because it's the best tip, moderation. How to be a healthy stoner. Moderate yourself and do not try to be a 24/7 stoner. I'm high every minute that I'm awake type stoner. That's the worst way to do it. That's the most unhealthy way to do it. You turn it into like a requirement for your day instead of like an add-on. Oh, I can't do anything until I get high. I can't start getting ready for the day without a rip. I can't go do this errand without a rip. I can't do this without taking a rip. You turn it into something that you have to do. It's not healthy anymore. You get to the point where you have to do these rips now. You don't even want to. You're not even like, oh man, that was such a good one. You're like, if I don't take this right.
Yeah, we all know that coupons is how I change my tolerance breaks throughout the day. Because you know me, I gotta wake and bake. I don't care what he say about not starting off the day high. No, ain't nobody want to wait all goddamn day to get what you actually doing shit for. Hell nah, I'm gonna get high, then I'm gonna get ready, then I'm gonna go to work. Then when I'm at work, I'm coming down the whole time, but that's good for me because that's how I prefer to be. It keeps me on my toes at work. Why? Because I'm slightly inebriated enough to where some bullshit can just slide right on by. Because guess what? We ain't trying to fuck up the money. We trying to stack the money, which is why we got high to go to work in the first place. See what I'm saying? I ain't get high because I had to go to work. I got high so when I'm at work, if I got to deal with some extra bullshit, yeah, while I'm coming down, I'll just let that shit slide. Because, you know, I'm already coming down, so hell, we'll put the bad news all together, right? Hey, I'm just saying, that's how I looked at it. So then whenever I do get off work, you know, take a shower, grab something to eat, because you don't want to smoke on an empty stomach or smoke to get an appetite, whichever way you need that to go. You see what I'm saying? Because I already done work, so I'm hungry as hell, so I can just go ahead and eat. versus some of y'all might be using your medication to actually excite your appetite, because we're not going to say to return your appetite, we're going to say to excite your appetite. You know you need to eat, but you don't really feel like sitting there and eating. Well, once you there, like he said, you're going to put it down like they're trying to fall in love, but we ain't going to talk about that.
Right now, I'm gonna
Said
feel like
colored
crap. So
bell
for
peppers
me,
and
moderation
ranch.
is huge. While some days are different, for the most part, I don't start my session until I start my Twitch stream at 9 p.m. Eastern. There's other days where I gotta test stuff out to make sure I got a video here and there, but for the most part, when I stick to that 9 p.m. schedule, the first rip takes me to the moon, and I don't need to consume nearly as much as if I'm just trying to do it every few hours, you know? And I think in the grand scheme of things, the less you consume is better, right? It's not like, oh, let me just keep getting more and more and more. I think less is more in this type of situation, and you get more value out of it when you do it, the less that you do it. There's people that they're barely smoking every now and then, getting way higher than somebody who's like, yeah, I smoke every day and I get super high. You're not getting as high as the guy who's just doing it willy-nilly every once in a while. You're not, and he's doing one hit or two. So look, those are my 5 tips to be a healthier stoner. Leave me a comment and let me know, should I come up with a part 2 with 5 more healthy tips? I had several written down. Do me a solid, subscribe to this channel if you aren't, and look, share this video with...
Well, that's how you know you got your good video series. You sit down to do a 5 things to be better video, and then you end up with a list because you were taking notes and doing your little side quest investigation and research like I personally do, and then you got like 50 of them. So that's like 10 videos, and then the next thing you know, you got a YouTube career because you know you actually went and started putting in the behind the scenes work to make videos. Hey, that's why I said. And then you suggested, and then people are in the comments like, "Oh, you got 5 more? Well, let's keep going." I didn't want to stop at 5, but some people don't like long content because attention spans. But this is YouTube. This is what YouTube was made for. You can have short videos. You can have long videos. Yeah, people are here to see it all, right?
A friend who, look, he's got to get rid of the tobacco. He's got to stop doing chops. He's got to get rid of the blunts. And I think I'm going to do an updated video of this maybe later in the year. But if you want to hear my 2024 best ways to get high, check out this video right here. Have a lit day, my dudes.
Speaking of which, it's Sunday, so y'all know tonight to go check out the big homies over here on the Green Table Podcast. Check out some of these bangers and some banging ass plants, right? Right. Uh-oh, Kelly, good to see you. How you doing? Hopefully it's another day in paradise. Seen the hubby over in the last video kicking with you. Appreciate that time, right? Yeah, go ahead and show him off. We love to see that out here.
Come back in the year and that check that you wrote to get cash. You want to smoke with the demon, well now you done seen it. I hope that you ready so mad. Cause they see me on the come up, I'm just getting started. I didn't even get in my bag. Man, I won't think with you niggas, but y'all steady hating. Don't talk about popping no tags. I spin the block cause I'm patient. Come back in the year and that check that you wrote to get cash. You want to smoke with the demon, well now you done seen it. I hope that you ready to clash. Yeah. Graduated from the streets at the top of my class. You run the world and let's get it. I told you I live it, all you had to do was just ask. I know before I was chillin', just trying to get millions. Now all of that shit in the past. I take it up to the ceiling, however you willin'. Just so that you ready for class. Run down, I do this shit with no mask. If they won't call it a race, we gon' lap them. Cry like a baby when you get back at them. They here for the now, but they never gon' last. Why? Slow through my life like a turtle, but you get too close and I'm ready to snap. Rules to the game and they all universal. If you break a rule, then you never come back. Living my life, I'm just chillin', big plate. I'm gonna eat, they gonna eat up trash. Once they find out you a clown, gotta leave out of town and you never come back. I sit around many counters, I'm loving the sound that it make when it get to a stack. And I show nothing but love, but if you a hater, then fuck ya, I know I so mad. Cause they see me on the come up, I'm just getting started, I didn't even get in my bag. Man, I won't think with you niggas, but y'all steady hating, don't talk about popping no tags. I'll spin the block cause I'm patient, come back in the year, and that check that you wrote to get cash. You want to see with the demon, well now you done seen it, I hope that you ready so mad. Cause they see me on the come up, I'm just getting started, I didn't even get in my bag. Man, I won't
Shout out to the big homies. You know, Piff and DJ Is will be over there tonight too. So that's where we kick it on the Sundays. I'm just letting y'all know so y'all can be part of the cool kid table, right?
100K play, honey bun K. You don't want smoke with this right here. Know what you say. Swing by your way. Get caught in my headlights like dear. Watch what you say. Don't become prey. Internet niggas is so damn weird. I'm from the Bay. He from upstate. Told you before that this song. So sick, no suit. Big business, no suit. Sedan truck, no coupe. Long leg room, big shoes. Mirror crop my move. All my ops is food. All my ops was fools. Hard cold like ice cubes. Always woke, no snooze. All this smoke, no booze. All good days, no blues. Except for what I got in pocket, cause you know I'm gon' get it. Leave me alone with your home. Fuses get blown, cause I'm gonna grow with it. I stay with them plans, you stay with them Zans, so you might be gone in 4 minutes. Don't blame me for all of your goals unachieved. You just a whole nigga.
Why they so mad? Cause they see me on the come up, I'm just getting started, I didn't even get in my bag. Man, I won't think with you niggas, but y'all steady hating, don't talk about popping no tag. I'll spend the block cause I'm patient, come back in the year, and that check that you wrote to get cash. You wanna smoke with the demon, well now you done seen it, I hope that you ready so mad. Cause they see me on the come up, I'm just getting started, I didn't even get in my bag. Man, I won't think with you niggas, but y'all steady hating, don't talk about popping no tag. I'll spend the block cause I'm patient, come back in the year, and that check that you wrote to get cash. You wanna smoke with the demon, well now you done seen it, I hope that you ready to clash.
As we usually say, twist 2, because you know how we do.
If your plants are looking sick, before you do anything, start with these 3 things. Come on, let's talk about what they are. But before we do, today's video is brought to you by Real Growers Grow Dots, the easiest way to feed your high-value plants. You mix Grow Dots in once at the beginning of your grow, and they feed your plants all the way to harvest. You don't have to worry about nutrient burn or nutrient lockout. Grow Dots does all the hard work for you. Check them out over at realgrowers.com. And while you're there, use coupon code Scotty420 to get 20% off your first order. Now let's get back to the show. Come on, High C, let's jump into this.
Okay, this is something that a lot of growers, including myself, struggle with. Plants looking weak, plants looking sick, and not knowing where to start.
Yeah, growers including myself. I just got burnt on this as to where I thought I had nutrient deficiency and it turned out I had russet mites.
Okay, so let's talk about the most common things that are going to go wrong in your grow, how to diagnose them, and how to fix them.
Let's do it.
All right, number 1.
All right, well, first I'll start with an open mind. Throw nutrients out to start off with and just think fundamentals. The plants need to breathe, right? We talk about aerobic microbes. Aerobic means air. The plant roots need air to survive. The microbes need air to survive. Are those roots drowning? If you're overwatering them, if they're just sitting saturated in water, they are drowning. I guess minus sip buckets, which have a way of doing it. But you will drown those roots and they will just not be able to do their work. You can give them as much nutrient, perfect amount of nutrient. Your ppm is perfect, your pH is perfect, but they can't do it. They physically don't have the ability. It's almost like if you gave me everything I needed, but I couldn't breathe. I wouldn't perform so well.
So I ran into this problem with one of my first grows. My plants were looking weak. I thought, well, plants need water, so I gave it more water, and I ended up saturating the plants. There was nowhere for the water to go. I ended up killing my grow.
Yep. Man, I'm thinking there's a female analogy in here somewhere. You know, you give them a little space, you know, give them a little room sometimes, and they'll come back stronger. But with regards to your roots, you have to stop that environmental behavior, I guess, meaning you have to stop overwatering them. They will come back, but if you just leave something wet, what do we know about leaving something wet?
Oh, it gets all mushy.
Yeah, it starts to degrade. Anaerobic bacteria attack it and they break it down. So we don't want that. We want to encourage aerobic bacteria that are going to break down the nutrients and deliver them to the plant, not ones that are going to break down the plant.
Yeah, because when I pulled my plant out, It was like
Came right
mush
out.
in
Yep.
the roots.
Yep, that's root rot. They've got there's several different types of root rot. They're fancy words for all you need to know. It's that the plant can't breathe, and so there's no aerobic bacteria. We talk about recharge, putting a bunch of aerobic good guys in there to fight the bad guys. The good guys can't breathe, so the bad pathogens take over, the pathogenic fungi and microbes.
So overwatering your plant can totally wreck it. What about underwatering?
Yeah, that's, you need to be in that Goldilocks zone, right? So if I have too much water, if I'm anthropomorphizing this, too much water, I'm bloated, I'm probably not going to be able to perform very well. If I'm borderline dehydrated, I'm not going to perform very well at all. And just like our organs begin to shut down, it has to do with the concentration of water. So with plants, you're changing that concentration of water. You're taking it to where the pH and the parts per million of nutrient, salts basically, was perfect, where you were when you had proper hydration. Now that you've lowered the amount of water, remember we talked about pH being the potential of hydrogen. Water is hydrogen. Now there's not enough water to regulate pH. There's not enough water there's nutrient in there, but then there's salt-based nutrients. Any nutrient, when it gets down to its ionic form, is a salt-based, a metal and a non-metal together. So when you have a bunch of salt-based nutrients and then you lower the concentration of water, you're making it saltier, right? Like if you take ocean water and evaporate it out, you're
just left with salt.
Yes, and you just change the concentration, and we know that there's a parts per million range that this plant likes. So when you change that concentration, it's more stress for the plant. So there's a Goldilocks zone with this stuff.
Okay, and you mentioned earlier the way that you get that Goldilocks zone.
Yeah.
And this is what I've switched over to now, and
Sure.
it works great. Tell us how you find that Goldilocks zone.
I use sip buckets. You know this about me. I use sip buckets and I use cocoa. Cocoa has a great air to water holding ratio as to where even when you completely saturate it, it's still able to hold air. It's light and fluffy naturally. It's because a coconut has to survive even if it's floating in water. So it's adapted for that. And this sip buckets pull the water, they wick the water up from the bottom. It's a little counterintuitive because you're always taught that plants shouldn't sit in water because they go anaerobic. If you leave just a small amount of water, just a few inches of water, the amount of surface area compared to the depth of the water allows decent enough oxygenation for this to work. That's why those sip buckets work.
Okay, next common problem
Sure.
that might be causing my plants to not do very well.
Right.
We mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, nutrients. Nutrients are I don't know why they're so fun. I guess because it offers you a solution in a bottle where you can be like, oh man, all right, let me pour some of this on. And nutrient deficiencies, I did them in this order because a nutrient deficiency can show up and you're like, why do I have calcium problems? I'm giving it plenty of calcium. Let me pour more on. You know what I say about more on? But it's not that you have a calcium problem. It's that the calcium is stuck in the soil and can't get up into the plants. And for me, when I'm doing it professionally, I will order a soil analysis to see what nutrient is in the soil, and then a tissue analysis to see what nutrient is in the tissue. And that way I can tell if I have some kind of a root problem or an actual nutrient problem. And by the way, I was going to be like, that's super advanced stuff. Maybe it cost $100 to do that. So if you're really into figuring out what's wrong, yeah, take a look.
Well, one of the things too, growing in cocoa, sometimes you can get unwashed, unbuffered cocoa.
Yeah.
And it'll suck the calcium and magnesium out of your nutrients and won't get into the plants, causing a nutrient deficiency, but it's not because of the nutrients.
Exactly. It's because of lockout. And cocoa grows in salt. We were talking about it grows in salt water. That's good and bad. And the problem is it holds that salt. So you have to, and it holds it, by the way, in place of where the calcium and magnesium would attach. So that's why they call buffering. You get good quality cocoa. I will shout out to Canna Cocoa. I am obsessed with the real buckets of trying different cocoa so I can include it in the real buckets. And man, it's just a dummy move. Go get your real buckets and use can of cocoa. If you're using any cocoa core, man, that's the stuff that you can take out of the bag. You don't have to wash it. You don't have to buffer it. You don't have to worry about salt in there as well. Okay, cocoa rant over, but it is one of those things that can cause a problem. But with nutrient deficiency, we've got our macronutrients, the N, P, and K. Then you've got your calcium, magnesium, and your sulfur, the secondary. Those are used in a lot, big amounts. And find a nutrient deficiency chart online. There are a ton of them, and each one of these gives a specific tell. The nitrogen starts going from the outside, and the plant becomes less green, or the leaf becomes less green. Magnesium has this, the veins will stay dark. It's called intervenal chlorosis. Calcium has these necrosis, these necrotic spots. So each one of them has a specific tell, a specific symptom. And man, all you got to do is yell it into your phone and you'll get a good chart. And you can figure this out. Oh, hey, one last thing. I mentioned the primaries, the macros, and the secondaries. There's micronutrients, and they're needed in the tiniest amounts. But the key word there is they're needed. Iron. You need a couple parts per million of iron. But if you don't have it, the plant won't work well. If boron, you need the tiniest amount of boron, but it's necessary. Just like we need tiny amounts of vitamins. We need tiny amount of iron, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the same thing. But with regards to the micronutrients, it's very rarely a problem unless you're making your own nutrients, whether it's Grow Dots or any other can of A and B. They're in there in such small amounts that most manufacturers don't slip on the micronutrients. It's very easy to put the right dosage of nutrients in there. So unless you're building your own fertilizer, I would look a little bit bigger.
Okay, and let's go to the third most common problem in the grow, which might look like a nutrient deficiency also because
Absolutely.
you are losing nutrients.
Yep, bugs. I think it's soon enough, man, where I can talk about them. I just had this problem. That's why I put it on this list. I was looking at my plants and I'm saying, hey, these just aren't. They're not what they're supposed to be. I'm doing everything right, just like I did last harvest, but these plants look sickly. And I'm trying more calcium and more magnesium, and I'm thinking, hey, maybe my ratios are off. I'm doing all this stuff. And then one day I just sat down with the jeweler's loop and I started looking. And that time I found root aphids. I inspected the roots and I found little bugs crawling around there. And I go, man, this is the problem. I scoped the leaves a bunch, but I didn't scope the roots. So just like we talked about, the roots are your engine, pushing all the nutrient up. So if there's a problem with the engine, whether it can't breathe, it's oversaturated, or it can't breathe because it's getting gnawed on and filled with disease all the time, that's going to be an issue.
And so if it's bugs down at your roots
Sure.
or bugs on the bottoms of your leaves or
Yep.
wherever,
Yep.
why is it that ends up making your plant weak?
Yeah, I mean, imagine thousands and thousands of bites. You've got, whatever ticks, I'll say, for people. What do you worry about? They carry disease, right? They're not sterile. They're not clean. When they bite you, they carry disease, and that's mostly what you're worried about. Same with these bugs. So these bugs show up. First off, they're sucking the nutrient out of your plant. That's what they're living on. So they're putting a little mouth part on there. They're sucking it out, and that's what they're using to survive and make their whole families. Well, you know what I mean? Thousands and tens of thousands of these bugs. And man, they're not always so obvious. I've had spider mites before. I've had regular aphids before. I never had russet mites before. You really can't see them. It is really hard to see them. So that's why I put it on this list. What this whole list is about. It's not that easy. Some of these things show up and they look like other things. So if you run this list, and you say, start with watering. How's my root zone health? Honestly, you might want to do B, the scoping of bugs second, but it doesn't matter. And then look at your nutrients after that.
Okay, you talked about scoping or scouting for
Yeah.
bugs. What does that entail? How do I diagnose if I have bugs?
Okay, first you gotta smoke a little bit, man, and then you, and then you go into your grow at the jeweler's loop, and you hang out for 15 or 20 minutes, man, and you just take a look, and you don't only look at the one plant that's closest to you. You go in the middle of the canopy, and you grab a leaf. You grab one from up top. You grab one from down in the middle. You go to your worst circulation in the room, and you grab a leaf from there, and you look at it. And you just say, hey, is there anything crawling on the front? Is there anything crawling on the back? Do I see any damage? Do I see any evidence of bugs? And that's IPM. It's Integrated Pest Management.
You mentioned you got some in your last grow.
Sure.
But you didn't have to throw your whole grow out.
No, I managed them. Remember, management is not, integrated pest eradication or even prevention. It is management. So I got these bugs, and it's an ecosystem in there. The plants were growing, the bugs were eating the plants, so I finished I added to it by adding bugs that eat other bugs. I got meat eater bugs,
So some bugs eat plants, and then some bugs
Eat bugs, yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I just kept the cycle going, nature's cycle going.
So is that what you would recommend people do if they find bugs?
If you're desperate to save your harvest, it cost me several $100s because you have to do 2 or 3. I think I did 3 releases. Didn't get the right bugs the first time. So it was very expensive for me. I really needed the harvest. It'd been a couple months since harvest, so I went with it. But when it comes to bugs, there are a lot of situations where you start over again. Don't use really harsh pesticides because they will show up in your medicine. But sometimes it is better off to just eradicate everything, clean the room, get new soil, clean everything, and call your buddy up for some fresh clones. Hey, but those are just the 3 things that I start with when I'm diagnosing sick plants. But what about you? How do you start? What do you look for? Let me know in the comments. If you dug this video, come on, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Share this video with another grower you know. And come on, check out the other couple of videos YouTube's recommended. We think you'll dig them.
That's hilarious.
A lot of people say my content is boring because I am literally the only weed tuber that does not smoke weed as a form of entertainment on my channel. Like, everyone's expecting, like, giving blinkers to strangers, 500 milligram THC challenge. Let's just get wasted and get psychosis. Like, this irresponsible, like, content form, media, whatever you want to call it, like, that's what gets the views. Like, I had a really fucking funny skit of me giving a gummy to a stranger and lacing him, but it was just a skit. And that literally got like 70 million views. Like, that's what people want. They want the garbage media that entertains them. It gives them shock
YouTube trying to hate on the video.
value. They don't want the real truth. And what the real truth is that we accidentally legalized weed federally in 2018. We didn't kind of legalize it. We didn't sort of legalize it. Like, we fucking legalized it. Let that land, bro. And the problem is that you have all these NPCs. They're saying the same lines. Like, they're like fucking pre-programmed to like say these lies, like THCA is harvested early, or it's not cured, or it doesn't get you high because it's synthetic and it's creating confusion. Why do people feel the need to hate on hemp when it's literally the pathway to legalization? It was a shortcut. And like, basically what we did is we took the shortcut
like forced a landslide from the mountain. Now there's like a bunch of rocks blocking the shortcut to the promised land. And instead we're like, oh, well, you can get a marijuana license. Like in Illinois, like, yeah, just pay $1 million cash liquid to get a marijuana license, bro. You're good, bro. Yeah, you could keep going. You can continue in the industry. It's incredible what people come up with to justify banning hemp. Instead of taking the downsides of hemp, like the lack of age restriction, lack of consumer safety testing, and basically whatever the mystery noids that, you know, need proper SOPs so there's not like residual reagents and weird chemicals in the Delta 8s and the whatever. Like, I'm not saying there shouldn't be synthetic cannabinoids, but there needs to be like a standardized process to make them more safe because we don't know what's in them necessarily. But instead of fixing all those problems and taking the shortcut to legalization, we had to ban it. And I actually don't think the ban in 12 months is actually a ban. It's actually, I've been talking with a lobbyist recently, and we're going to be working together to do a media run, podcast run, to help him with his content strategy, because he has a lot of ideas about the hemp ban that I've never heard before. And one of those is that it's not really a ban, it's more of a probation, right? So they banned the THCA hemp, and we can only sell it until November 2026. But think about it. If they really wanted to ban it, why would they give us 12 months to continue selling it? Why? Wouldn't they just ban it in a month? Like, hey, you have a month to clear your shelves. If they really wanted to get rid of it, they would force us to clear the shelves in 1 month. Instead, they gave us 12 months. 12 months left to sell weed. So basically what the government is saying is, yeah, we federally legalized weed in 2018, and we're going to allow you to continue selling that weed for another 12 months until November 2026. So they're allowing us to continue selling weed through this loophole. That's interesting. Well, my kind of opinion, and this was informed to me by the lobbyist that I've been talking to, he advocates for making hemp legal and really cannabis policy in general. And that idea is that it's not really a ban. It's more of like a probation or a timeout. It's giving time for the bad actors to weed themselves out. It's giving time for companies that do want to see regulation lobby the government, make conversation with the government, and actually push for a better system. So all the people that have given up on like, oh, this loophole, like you should have seen it coming. You should have seen it coming, you dirty little trying to take shortcuts and trying to sell weed without a marijuana license. Like, ugh. Like, you should have seen it coming. You're garbage. Well, I guess I'm garbage for not having $1 million for a marijuana license, right? I'm such a garbage piece of shit. But I think there's going to be a way out of this. I think there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel for the hemp industry, because I think there's still a lot of money in the industry. I mean, some companies, they make $5 million a month in revenue selling online, and I don't see them giving up anytime soon. I mean, me personally, I don't have enough money, buying power, to contribute monetarily to the lobbyists, but what I do have is I have skills. So I'm actually working with the lobbyist group for their content strategy, like I said earlier, to bring more awareness to this issue, bring more awareness to the fact that cannabis is already federally legal. And right now it's January, so we have about 10 more months to sell weed federally. We have federally legal weed for 10 more months. It's actually kind of crazy to think about. So I see it as a positive that, you know, we have 10 more months, that they gave us that grace period. Because if they really wanted to ban it like 100%, they would have given us 1 month. But to all the people out there that just...
Now, see, that's another way to look at it. Like, oh, they're banning hemp. No, like he just said, they gave y'all 1 year legally trapping. And then after that, now you got to come up with the next play, right? Hey, it's a short explanation. But for the people that already know that you was doing something wrong, that lets you know, cut it out with what you got, right? Don't buy that next re-up. If the
They're
indoor
thinking
harvest
short
ain't done
term. They're
by
thinking
July,
nihilistically. They're
you don't
thinking,
want it in
oh, that
August.
was never gonna last, or that's what you get for like trying to operate outside of your legal state marijuana license system. Listen, bro, you gotta have a free market. You're gonna stifle innovation with a limited license model. You're gonna get worse products. These vertically integrated companies, like some license models, force you to be vertically integrated to even operate. So that means you need to grow the weed, package the weed, market the weed, own the dispensary. Like, it's just the concept of jack of all trades, master of none. You're gonna get more subpar product if you're handling every part of the business. Like, that's very hard to do. It's extremely hard. It's like basically impossible to like master every single aspect of the business. Where hemp, it allows different portions of the business to act independently as separate businesses, which creates more efficiency, lower costs, more innovation, better costs for the consumer. Yes, is there issues with age verification, quality control, lack of lab testing? Yes, but that could all be solved. That could all be solved. We could improve the system we have now. So I'm optimistic for the future, and I hope that you guys stay optimistic as well, because don't let the people that are writing comments say, oh, fake weed, it was never going to last. You're a scumbag for operating outside the marijuana system. That's a loophole. You're trying to take a shortcut. Like, no, we're all humans trying to make a good living. We all want the best for people, Yes, are there bad actors out there? Yes. When you're dealing with money in general, there's going to be like psychopaths and like crazy people. Like I heard some statistic that 10% of CEOs have like a personality disorder, where compared to the general population, it's like 1% or something. So you have like a 10 times higher rate of like crazy people, that are CEOs. And on top of that, I can only imagine cannabis attracts even more than that, because it's just like a drug. It's kind of like a higher risk environment. So take with that what you will, because yeah, I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. Don't worry, guys. Like, we will fix this. And if not, if we can't keep hemp legal, like, it's gonna become legal in one form or another federally as the years go on. Something's got to give. Something's gonna crack, And if everyone loses their business in 12 months and we can't fix it, then I don't know. Are we just gonna cower down and accept defeat? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Just wanted to share these thoughts.
Hurry up and buy. Hurry up and buy. Hurry up and buy.
Break yourself.
Hey! You dropped something.
Hell, you just gave O-Dog another gun, man.
Today,
I
we're
still
diving
got a
into
whole
why
video
seeds
after
might
this one.
disappear soon and what you can do to protect genetics. But first, check this out.
You can't have that stank dank smell coming right out your grow. You got to take care of that. Go to acinfinity.com. You can pick up a carbon filter for them,
or their fan and filter combos and really pimp out your grow, guys. When you get the combo kit, and thank God to say, they're the quietest fans I have ever ran. You could sit there and actually do a podcast with this thing taking care of business. There we go with their controller. This controls your complete environmental control. Great setup, 10-speed fans, ACinfinity.com, coupon code DUDEGROWS. Take care of all that odor in your grow. Back to the show. All right, let's hop into this, man. I like my genetics, and recently they snuck this in. They rewrote the Farm Bill, Scotty, and stuck it into like 2,000 other pages. You know how they do it. And so within a year, if this stays the way it is, they're going to make shipping, people having all that stuff, cannabis seeds, federally illegal, meaning you won't be able to order them online. They won't be able to ship them. People won't be able to take payment methods. It's big, man. The U.S. is like the biggest seed bank in the world.
Man, I mean, they specifically wrote that in federally illegal. I mean, hemp is federally legal. And yeah, I mean, and anything with you know what it was? I read this thing. It was anything with the potential to grow and over 0.3% THC. Man, I don't know. Depends on the grower. I know some growers that probably couldn't beat that mark.
Well, which makes me think, what are they going to do? They would literally have to take the seeds and grow them out to the harvest point to get the THC up to then make them federally legal. But they're saying, hey, you know, there's plenty of people that sling seeds that don't want this headache. So as far as being able to operate as a business on the up and up, man, this is really a setback. There is still potential. It might be sorted out. This will come into effect November 26th. Of 2026, so it is kind of stock up time a little bit, in my opinion. Get your seed bank a little heavy.
Yeah, what they're giving you, that's great, man. You get a whole year to stock up.
The industry has operated this way before. You know, the Farm Bill did have that loophole below 0.3%. You could ship seeds, you could have banking, you could do whatever. Well, if they try to put seeds underground, it's not fully going to stop it, right? People, what was it? It used to be like you're buying the CD or you're buying the pen.
And the seeds are free. I mean, how many people spent like $80,000 on a pack of seeds because they bought it with Bitcoin? You know what I mean? Guru has like 12 Bitcoin he traded for something dumb.
Yes. But keep your eye on this, and I always say, whether you're a clone grower or whatever you're getting your cuts, it's nice to have a few packs on hand, man. It gives me a little bit of insurance, a little bit of comfort to know, hey, my garden burns on, I don't know, I get something, I have to take everything out, at least to have a way to start up. So let's talk about why seeds matter so much, man. I mean, cloning and breeding over and over and over and over again can bring problems, right? It can bring viruses, genetic weaknesses.
Yeah, hybrid vigor is what I think.
Ooh, I love that term.
Yeah, two separate lines and you bring them together. They are vigorous. You get that nothing like popping a seed. I can't THC gave me a seed. He's working on his seed business. And this thing, I've got it next to a whole bunch of really strong clones, but this thing, it just looks different, man. Bigger, faster.
Sometimes you want to start off clean because you've had a nightmare. J.R. Token, fellow grower, PM nightmare in his grow, had to get rid of everything. Sometimes when you get something like powdered mildew, you do need a complete start over. And you're going to be really nervous about bringing in another clone. Sometimes visually, you can take in a clone that looks fabulous. It can have issues. It can have PM spores that haven't fully surfaced yet for your naked eye to see. So that's a good way. It's almost impossible, highly unlikely you're going to plant a seed and come up with a type of virus or problem that's really going to affect your grow negatively.
Yeah, you're pretty safe with a fresh pack of seeds, starting from scratch.
I like it. Freshies. And seeds accessibility, even if you're not buying online, now more than ever, we're seeing over on realddc.com, growers, hobby growers, tent growers, Grambo grows are starting to do their own breeding projects and have fun in creating it into another hobby. I mean, this is a giving plant. One plant can create how much? I don't even know off the top of my head. 500 seeds?
I can only imagine, but hundreds and hundreds of seeds. It's amazing when they shake them out of the bud. Actually, that bud like that. It's not wonderfully amazing sometimes. We all know how many seeds one bud can carry.
And some people dig on variety, right? When you plant a pack of seeds, that's all the same strain, you're going to get different phenoms. And sometimes you'll be disappointed, and sometimes you're going to have that unicorn, and you're going to be really surprised. It's kind of a fun game. I almost was joking with somebody the other day where, man, maybe a seed variety pack where you don't know what's what to see what you get for people that like to have different things in the garden.
That's your F2s, man. Your F2s is a variety pack. You know, they got the different. I was watching Matt from the Strange Show this morning, and it just the next video rolled through. He has an excellent video explaining all that, the lineage and what to expect. Some look like the parents, some look like total freaks. Actually, I have a bag right here, bunch of seeds, and it's called Field of Freaks, and it's just
Field of
F2s.
Freaks.
You know, it's just a bunch of them.
Well, there's F1s as well, and the quick overview on that. The higher the number, F1, you can get up to F4. I don't know if I've seen a ton above F4. That's the fourth version of the breeder working on that. It should be way more stable.
Yeah.
So depending on what you're looking to do, that's what those numbers mean. I'm not going to get fully into them. It's another show, the BX1, RX, B2, 3, 4, you know. But the F is the most common thing you'll see after a strain name.
Rambo, if he says IBL, you have to smoke, man.
Let's talk about storing seeds. Guys, this is why it's really cool. You can stock up on seeds and they can be viable for a long time. Now, don't do it wrong. You don't need to go right into the freezer. The viable seeds up to 5 years, we'll say, in a dark, cool place. Refrigerator, if not too cold. I have a storage area over here that stays right around 58, 59, maybe 60 year round. That's where I store my seeds. They're good for years in there.
So there is controversy over fridge and freezer because you need low humidity. I think a lot of this stems from people just if you take fresh seeds, you put them in the freezer. What do we know about water? You see an ice cube, it gets bigger. You know, it gets bigger as it freezes. So yeah, we got to watch out for that because as that happens, it's going to rupture all those cell walls and it'll ruin that seed. So if you are going to put them in a freezer for long-term storage, make sure they're dry.
Desiccant pack as well is a tip. You can order those almost anywhere. You get them like sometimes in some of your food. Be careful if you're hungry and stoned, eat the desiccant pack. But that is a good way to ensure like you're keeping them in the driest of conditions for long-term storage.
Yeah.
Pack them up tight too.
Right on there, man. It says do not eat right on there.
Pack them up tight. Seeds, when you order them, they always come in small little containers, right? You don't want a ton of oxygen in there with them. If you can vacuum seal them, all the better. Not completely necessary, but if you're trying to do all the tips and tricks, that's a great way. And temperature swings, man. I see this one on here. If your area gets hot, like these seeds might start to signal like, oh my gosh, it's gotten up to the 70s for a few days now. Like something's happening seasonally. And then if you try to bring them back down and you do that too much time, you're really going to mess with the viability of that seed.
Agreed. Don't they find them in like King Tut's tomb and whatnot? Because it's just cool and steady. Pretty sure they do. It's cool and dry.
I think they find them in that brick behind you somewhere too, as well.
Oh yeah, there's probably a few hundred in there.
Pro tip: I've been here. Scotty's been here. Label everything well, right? How do you label?
Yeah. How do I label? I don't label seeds because I don't have seeds, sir.
Well, I mean, as far as storage, you don't want to just do a magic marker that can fully rub off just what you're doing. Because I have my seed kit back here, and I do have an envelope, and I do have a container that have nothing written on them. I do have a seed pack. Most of them are labeled well, but when you're storing seeds, make sure you label everything well so you know what everything is, and not just the name. Hey, is this a regular or a photo? Wait, is this an auto fem or is this an auto regular? I have packs that are labeled just auto, but they're auto regulars after finding out. So you do want to have as much detail as you can, even information on that. If you know, hey, this is a 60-day, this is a 70-day, whatever you have is good and growing information on the pack.
Yes, permanent marker. Right with permanent markers, sir.
Let us know in the comments below. Do you have bank? Do you have a seed bank? That just means you got some packs laying around, which I think everybody should. How do you store your seeds? I'm curious if anybody does use the freezer method. I never have. Leave us some comments below.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Come on, dude. If they like this video, you know what they should do? They hit the like button. They should hit the subscribe button. They should share this one with another grower they know. And check out the other couple videos YouTube's recommending. Dude knows you'll dig them.
Your son, you teach defense. Your daughter, you teach offense. Like if I'm lucky, right? For my daughter, I'm lucky. If another man wants to take her from me, I'm lucky. If a man want me to walk her down the aisle and hand her over, and she married and she takes away my last name, put his last, I'm lucky. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I'm lucky, if I get to die at peace with that, she goes finds a man. But that's the only one I could ever be that vulnerable with. I could be vulnerable. I could be as light as I want with my daughter. Like, she don't judge me. You can't really be vulnerable with a woman for real, unless you got that shit thrown back at you. You know what I'm saying? Your mama might throw some shit back at you from time to time. But your daughter, I could be a bum, no teeth, the veneers could be gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? And she's still gonna love her papa,
What a crazy 2025. And what do I think is going to happen in 2026? Let's talk about the predictions I have for cannabis legalization in the new year. Today, you're going to leave with three things. First, when Schedule 3 could land and why 280E is a real prize. Second, why the hemp fix may actually be a shutdown and what the FDA list does to your SKU list. And third, the sleeper move, research plus Medicare CBD, and why that changes really the whole hemp game. 2025, it ended with two federal clocks ticking. One hits on February 10th and the other one on November 12th. And one secret one from Trump's executive order that tells the Attorney General to finish the Schedule 3 rulemaking in the most expeditious manner. I'm Tom, a cannabis lawyer, and this is Cannabis Legalization News. Hit like because you'll want to see how 2026 plays out. First, we have to fix the most common false headline I saw everywhere, because it was wrong, and it makes people think the law works like a magic wand. You just wave it and bang, it's over. Trump rescheduled marijuana by his executive order. No, that's not legal, and that's not what he did. The executive order does not by itself move marijuana to Schedule 3. It directs the Department of Justice to complete the existing rescheduling process. The key line is that the Attorney General shall take all necessary steps to complete the rulemaking process related to rescheduling to Schedule 3 in the most expeditious manner, consistent with federal law.
Yes,
Do it now, Pam.
That
We have
just
seen the president's
go
tweets
light
before,
switch, right?
but he calls them truths.
It ain't on, man. It
But
ain't
the real
on.
question
Well, I
is,
cut it off,
when
man. It's got to
does
warm
Schedule
up.
3
Give
actually
it like
kick in?
5 minutes.
That's the prediction at first. What I'm hearing, and I'm going to label it, this is just chatter or rumor. This is not a guarantee. There are people in the industry saying that rescheduling could move faster than we anticipate, that the DOJ could try to cut through the procedural appeal and delay to get the rule across the finish line early in 2026. Some people say January. I'm not married to that date. The government does not move on your schedule, by the way. It moves at its own schedule and at the slow pace of paperwork and lawyers. So maybe not that fast, but my prediction is still early 2026. I think you see marijuana officially land in Schedule 3 before the first quarter. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's my read on it. Second, that Schedule 3 becomes effective, everyone in the licensed market knows exactly what changes. Profit. Taxes stop going on gross profit and go to net revenues so you can actually deduct expenses like marketing. Then comes a wave of tax return amendments. And all of this is still my first prediction. These are just the downstream effects once Schedule 3 prints sometimes in Q1 2026. Moving on, prediction number 2 is based on years of studying this stupid industry that makes less sense than it should, with exceptions, loopholes, and just absurd lines in the sand where hemp stops and weed begins. My prediction is that intoxicating hemp, as people know it today, will be illegal by the end of 2026. But only banks and the IRS do the enforcement, so it gets shut down and debanked. And any Trump administration allowance for what they think that the hemp definition should be still won't make it legal. Just like previous DOJ memos did not make marijuana operators legal, just free from worry of federal enforcement. The Cole memo, DOJ expectations for enforcing licensed operators in particular states, except for banking and taxes, but those aren't in the Department of Justice. Now, if you recall, while most people were watching the shutdown drama, Congress decided to fix hemp the way it fixes everything, by exploiting a crisis and completely overreacting. Congress passed the continuing appropriations package that became Public Law 119-37, enacted November 12, 2025. The legal enactment date is the 12th, and the date that matters because Congress hardwired two deadlines into the law. One deadline delayed the effectiveness of the new hemp definition for 365 days after the day of enactment. So by law, full spectrum CBD becomes Schedule 1 marijuana on that day, which is why the do it now, Pam, truth, move it to Schedule 3 and help those hemp farmers. But you'll need more administrative actions before the deadline actually lands on November 12th. That's the drop dead date. But that other deadline is not a secret. It's the one that they put. That's the one the feds need to make those rules. It's the FDA list. So first, what did Congress actually do? They rewrote the federal definition of hemp, so it's no longer just Delta-9 THC under 0.3% by dry weight. Now it's based on total tetrahydrocannabinols, explicitly including THCA and other THCs that could get you high. It's why we need the FDA list. That will tell us what you can and cannot have. But then Congress went a bit too far and carved out exclusions. And this is where the 0.4 milligrams per container line that would pretty much kill full spectrum CBD rears its ugly head. The law says that hemp does not include any final hemp-derived cannabinoid product containing greater than 0.4 milligrams of combined total THC per container, including THC and any other cannabinoids with similar effects or marketed to have similar effects as THC as determined by HHS. And Congress defines container as the innermost retail packaging, the jar, the bottle, the bag, the box, the can, the cartridge, the thing the customer actually buys. That's why the executive order itself says some full spectrum CBD will be controlled as marijuana under federal law when the new definition of hemp goes into effect. Because the threshold is so low that a bunch of products people think of as normal CBD get swept up into the controlled substance bucket and get debanked. Now here's the so what of my prediction. Congress will delay the hemp definition rewrite, and it'll become effective 365 days, which puts that around the November 12th, 2026. So the industry has time, but not forever. Today, basically December 23rd, the USDA announced they won't enforce the DEA hemp lab testing rule again for another year. But that's a rule of theirs, not the federal law, where you find the 0.4 milligrams. But here's my prediction. That deadline is a cliff to illegality for a huge portion of the current retail hemp cannabinoid market. I don't think there will be enough political capital to change that statutory definition in time. It's hard to get Congress to pass anything in a year. It's a midterm election year. Congress already doesn't work the full year out of an election year. And in that year, it works even less. That's just reality. But that's not how the Trump operates. His executive order doesn't just talk about marijuana rescheduling. It also orders a political and legislative fix for hemp-derived cannabinoid products. The order assigns the job to the Assistant to the President and Deputy Chief of Staff for Legislative, Political, and Public Affairs, no idea who that is, to work with Congress to update the definition of final hemp-derived cannabinoid products so Americans can still access appropriate full-spectrum CBD while preserving Congress's intent to restrict products that pose a serious health risk. In plain language, it's saying, we want full-spectrum CBD, but we're not trying to get products basically designed to get you high. And then the order tells you what the fix is supposed to look like. It calls for real regulatory framework. It points towards an upper limit on THC milligrams per serving with per container considerations and CBD to THC ratio requirements. That's the outline of a system that distinguishes full-spectrum CBD from intoxicating hemp candy sold at the gas station. And here's the key part that makes me think the November 26th deadline is still going to be messy, even if the White House wants a rescue of CBD. The order pushes the agency to develop research methods and models utilizing real-world evidence to improve access to hemp-derived cannabinoid products in accordance with federal law and to inform standards of care. That's the show your work, do science requirement. Without that data, you can't responsibly draw the line between appropriate full-spectrum CBD and this is just a marijuana product with a hemp label. Without data, every line becomes politics. And if it becomes politics, it becomes lawsuits. And delay. So yes, the White House is basically saying we're not going to try to protect gas station Delta 8. We're going to protect appropriate full-spectrum CBD. And it's telling you the way to do it is a serving-based standards and ratios, not a microscopic per-container switch between unscheduled hemp and Schedule 1 substances. Now here's the twist that many people miss. Just like they think Trump rescheduled by his order, no, even if the executive order wants this CBD framework, Congress already wrote the statute, passed it, and Trump signed it. The FDA can't override the plain definition Congress passed. If the law says 0.4 milligrams per container, the FDA can't wave a wand and turn it into a serving limit. Only Congress can change that number. FDA can clarified terms, define categories, publish lists, create standards, but the FDA can't amend the congressional law. And this is where the second clock comes in, the FDA list. This is the detail that turns law from the theory into enforcement. Law that opened the government puts the FDA on a clock. Within 90 days of enforcement, the FDA is required to publish the list that tells everybody what the government thinks these cannabinoids actually are, and a list of those cannabinoids it knows to be naturally present in the plant, a list of naturally occurring THC class cannabinoids, and a list of all other cannabinoids that have similar effects or are marketed as having similar effects to THC class cannabinoids. It also has to provide additional information and specificity about what counts as a container. So do the math. 90 days after November 12th lands on February 10th, 2026. So by mid-February 26, FDA is supposed to deliver the classification ammunition. Who is in the hemp lane and who is just shoved back into unlicensed controlled substances territory. And this is why those lists matter. Congress wrote these exclusions so they don't just depend on how much THC is in something. They depend on whether cannabinoids are naturally produced by the plant or whether they were synthesized or manufactured outside of the plant, and whether they have similar effects to THC or marketed like they have similar effects to THC. Effects is not a chemistry term, it's a regulatory term. The FDA and HHS definitions shape the enforcement realities. So that 90-day list is a building block for whatever rescue framework is in the Trump executive order. It's also why I don't really think you get a national framework instantly. You need the list, you need the science, you need the agencies to coordinate. And of course, that means that you need bureaucracy to do what it does, which is move slowly, even where everyone agrees, and move painfully slowly when they don't. For example, the 2023 Farm Bill. It's 2026 and still hasn't happened. That brings me to my timing prediction, inside prediction 2. I don't think we have a workable national framework until, at best, summer of 2026. And even then, remember, the hemp crackdown is already passed. It's sitting there, waiting to become effective. So what happens in the real world between summer 2026 and November? Enforcement becomes the wild card. We have seen this administration pick and choose with what laws Congress have passed. For example, with the TikTok ban or with the Epstein files. That doesn't make something legal. It doesn't create a safe harbor. But if the cops aren't going to be enforcing any of the stop signs, how many people are going to obey them? So my prediction is we get some kind of standards in 2026. Something like a THC per serving concept and a CBD to THC ratio concept based on that THC per serving. That's the only way to preserve the appropriate full spectrum CBD without allowing products that are basically THC, but with better marketing and laws. I want to be clear, this is not the law as written. The law as written is the 0.4 milligrams per container threshold. That's why this entire area is going to be messy until Congress actually changes the statute. And that's the second big opportunity of 2026. The shakeout and the scramble as hemp tries to get rescued, get redefined, or get selectively enforced. My third prediction is the slam dunk and the long game. It's the one prohibitionists fear the most because it changes the story from politics to medicine. I hate when facts get in my politics. Don't tell me what I know in my gut to be true and confuse my brain with your stupid facts and data. Schedule 1 has been the federal government's official position on marijuana, that it has no accepted medical use for 50 plus years. That's the propaganda premise baked into the Controlled Substances Act. But Trump's executive order basically admits, which the last administration admitted, it states HHS found a currently accepted medical use, and it references scientific support for marijuana being used for things like pain, chemotherapy-related nausea, and vomiting. And the order is blunt. Pardon the pun, Schedule 1 didn't just stigmatize, it strangled research dead. It kept doctors and patients stuck in this ridiculous world where millions of people are using cannabinoids. The medical system doesn't have enough real guidance, especially for seniors, people on multiple medications. The executive order pushes the agencies to build these research methods and models using real-world evidence. The point is to measure outcomes and inform standards of care, including standards that affect lawful hemp-derived cannabinoid products. So that's why it matters, the bridge from a wellness product to a medical standard. When you have standards of care, you don't just get better medicine, you get whole new markets. You get doctors who can recommend products with confident dosing that's based on evidence instead of guessing and vibes, man. Experimenting. It's experimental use only peptides. Now the goal is not to replace prohibition with a big pharma monopoly. The goal is to end the lie and build access. But from a pure market standpoint, research is a long-term legitimizer. It takes time for the data to come out, and it's what makes the industry harder to demonize and easier to integrate into mainstream healthcare. So you can get that CBD covered by Medicaid, as Dr. Oz mentioned. We'll see how that shakes out. It will get better with honest research into cannabinoids for medical use. And that creates my three big predictions heading into 2026. I think rescheduling lands early in the year, the big prize, 280E relief once it's effective and operators can finally be taxed like normal businesses. I think hemp hits a massive turnover in the summer or fall as FDA lists and agency standards start to appear, but you have that regulatory legal cliff sitting there in November of 2026, and I don't think Congress moves fast enough to change it because they don't have the data or the political will during the midterm election. But I also don't think that'll matter because the Trump administration will come up with this new ratio-based THC limited policy, and that will be what they claim will be their enforcement priority. Anything that violates that, granted it'll all be marijuana. Finally, I think that research push, that's the long game, that will slowly force our broken medical system to stop pretending cannabinoids don't exist, which is where the real benefits come from. It'll have the legitimacy for cannabis, standards of care for cannabis, and eventually institutional money will come in. So in short, I think 2026 will be the best year for licensed marijuana in a long time, and it could be the best year for hemp in at least one very specific way. Clarity, not loopholes, clarity. And if your cannabis company needs to get ready for the year, head on over to collateralbase.com. If you're not in the industry, just drop us a comment. Do you think Schedule 3 actually crosses the finish line in 2026? Or does bureaucracy find a way to slow walk it? Hit like if you want more of these breakdowns and subscribe because every time you do, a prohibitionist somewhere gets a little heartburn. Join another 88,000 subscribers and let's pass 100,000 together. Now stick around for this next video.
Give it gas when I'm dipping competition, getting past, living fast, furious, staying on track, never worry when I'm spinning. Laughs better getting back, ride for my dog, alphabeted on us, you gon' get it back. Never split this pack. Whenever I witness cap, we ain't fucking with your fiction, facts, your conviction lacks. When I get up in my bag, I'ma spend, we ain't tripping off tax, clipping this tag, working on my wish list, cooking this cake. Let me flip this stack. You a flash in the pan, while you relaxing. I can, my team finna pack the sedan, putting tracks in the sand, pushing my craft to the fam, got the people clapping their hands, putting cash in my brand, keeping my octane high, my graded premium, not 8-9 or 8-7, and when I run across state line, I'm 9-1, I gun it, clock great time, my time come, disappearing in the dark horizon, way I cut turns, I'm as sharp as diamonds, got them on tilt like a car's alignment, this is raw refinement, not a hard assignment, I'ma give it gas, give it gas, bitch.